Snowpiercer is a sci-fi action film by South Korean director Bong Joon-ho. It was loosely based on the 1982 French graphic novel La Transpersonnage, which has gained a lot of attention since the film's release. The film follows events culminating in a class revolution aboard a luxury train containing the last survivors of humanity, after a chemical dispersant used to reduce global warming freezes the planet, killing off all life. The film's story and characters are a major departure from the graphic novel, as Bong Joon-ho and screenwriter Kelly Masterson, who wrote Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, used the comic's concept as a springboard to examine social hierarchy, conformity, consumerism, and other related issues. Bong's previous film, The Host, is cited favorably among critics for its bending of genre and playing with audience expectation. This seems to be a signature of his films, and Snowpiercer is no exception. The film is in equal parts claustrophobic and brutal, yet at other points dipping into surrealism and black humor, which reminded me of British counterculture cinema like The Bed-Sitting Room or Brazil. This film proudly wears its social commentary on its sleeve and makes some pretty damning statements about tin pot authority and uncomfortable questions about what leadership really amounts to. This film gets my strongest recommendation I can give for a science fiction film of this past year. If you haven't seen it or heard of it, I would suggest you turn off this commentary and go see it for yourself. It is a must-see, and I'm stressing that particularly since I've seen precious little commentary about it in the American media. As far as I know, the only Blu-ray release of this film is a South Korean export, and its price may be prohibitive to some, but it is available on demand from streaming rental companies like Netflix. Go watch it. I guarantee it will definitely have an effect on you. If I taught social studies or film studies, I would totally watch this film with the class and talk about its meaning. Alright, go now. Go watch it. Come back here when you're done. Still there? Alright. The original graphic novel was written by Jacques Loeb and Jean-Marc Rochette, and is really more of a long-form episodic adventure story with existential overtones and a more militaristic set of villains. Whereas in the film, the revolution led by Curtis to take the engine is the central arc. The villains in the film are depicted more as clownish bureaucrats, and the train's creator, Wilford, as a mad genius industrialist who is trying to maintain a utopian level of society for the wealthy class at the expense of the poor. The enclosed nature of the train and its populace is used to illustrate the more frightening aspects of supply and demand. Snowpiercer did record box office in South Korea, but the Weinstein Group, who procured the US distribution rights, wanted 20 minutes cut from the film, and to add an opening and closing narration to make the film's meaning clearer. Bong Joon-ho refused, and the film ended up being released in only 8 theaters in the United States. This outraged fans of his work, and an online petition made the rounds, to which the Weinstein Group agreed to give it a bigger release, but only in art house theaters. Early this past month, July of 2014, it was announced that due to positive press, the film would be released in 150 theaters across the US. Weinstein also used the film to test out a video-on-demand model where the film went from theaters to online within 2 weeks. While some trade articles seem to praise this approach as being groundbreaking, I think it's more the case that Weinstein and company were uncomfortable with the film's political content and wanted to keep it in a safer, low-profile venue than out of being courageously experimental with their business.
I hate VOD. 그 공중에 증발하는 느낌이라서 영화가 파일로 증발되는 느낌이라 별로 안 좋아요.
It's like you know, just getting his work is getting disseminated all over the place. So he doesn't like that feeling.
근데 극장에서 보고 이제 마음에 들면은 DVD로 이제 블루레이로 소장하고 그게 제일 그 방법을 제일 좋아하죠.
Yeah, so if he sees a movie he likes in the theaters, he'll buy the Blu-ray. That's the best way to kind of keep his collection.
Captain America and Avengers regular Chris Evans was chosen to play the lead character, Curtis Everett. Bong Joon-ho wanted to acquire him after seeing Evans in Sunshine and Puncture, where he saw the more complex emotional presence required for the character of Curtis. Tilda Swinton, a popular go-to for malevolent female leads, gives a comic and creepy performance as the awkward Deputy Administrator Mason. John Hurt evokes memories of his character in Midnight Express as the humble tail section chief Gilliam, and Ed Harris is a spot-on choice for the engineer demagogue Wilford. Song Kang-ho, renowned for his performances in films like Siri and Lady Vengeance, here plays the poetic, drug-addicted security chief Namgun Minsu, and Ah Sung-ko plays Yona, his similarly addicted and prescient daughter Yona. The two give dreamy, childlike performances that balance Chris Evans' more stoic portrayal. Also worth noting are Romanian actor Vlad Ivanov, who gives a terrifying silent performance as Franco the Elder, the central antagonist of the film's last half, and newcomer Emma Levy gives a memorably creepy cameo as Claude, the companion concubine of Wilford. Her voice is dubbed in the film, though, not sure exactly why.
It still stands at 74%.
Outdoor scenes which take place in the film were shot in March 2012 in Tyrol, Austria, at the Hintertux Glacier. Principal photography was done in between April and July of that year entirely on a single gimbal-mounted train set built at the Barandov studio in the Czech Republic. Post-production and CGI were done in South Korea. What's most interesting to me is that this was a film that was conceived and designed entirely around its budgetary limitations, so there were no extra scenes that were cut, or ones left undone because money ran out. Bong Joon-ho made the film exactly as he planned it, and the released version, controversy aside, is free of corporate interference. It gives the film a remarkably solid feel. It has the kind of subversive, under-the-radar quality one expects from a B-movie, but with a great cast and excellent production values. Scoring in the high 90 percentile on Rotten Tomatoes, the film is an unqualified critical success and smashed box office records in South Korea. But because of Weinstein's concerns over its marketability, it made less than $200,000 in its initial North American release, which is not really a bad figure considering it only played in 8 theaters. Hopefully the film will find greater success in video on demand. I have no doubt this film will have a huge cult following in the US in coming years. This is a strange complaint and certainly won't affect anyone who doesn't play popular video games. I do, and as the film progressed, I kept being reminded of 2K's BioShock. Not only from the film's Art Deco design, but in its narrative. The story about a quiet protagonist who journeys through an enclosed dystopian city to confront a mad industrialist who has arguably enlightened views of morality and social structure. I'm not really comparing the two, they're completely different experiences, and honestly, I prefer the film. I never cared much for the BioShock series narratives. I don't think you can effectively make social commentary in the midst of a game that has you murdering every single person you meet. I don't know if Bong Joon-ho intended any similarities. Maybe he's a fan of the games. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But they are there, and are slightly distracting if you played the game. But this is a very minor complaint. Snowpiercer is a film you need to see. If you like your sci-fi with social commentary, if you like films that don't sugarcoat the human condition, if you like dark fables or surreal films like Brazil, then I can't recommend it highly enough. It got shafted in its US release, and it's really up to people like you viewers to see it and spread the word about this fine film. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'd like to welcome all the new subscribers this week. Thanks for joining me. Please feel free to comment on the videos and let me know what you'd like to see more of from this channel. Thanks for your support. This is Random Rob. Till next time.